30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a rainy Monday afternoon. However, we need it. We need it bad. So bring a little more before it's over. Okay, obviously a very interesting show today. We lead off during football season as we do every day in football season with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update. That update is brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. Dial her up at 615-969-4350. Now let's say hello to Terry McCormick, Main Street Media. Terry, before we get into all the particulars, what's the injury situation?
Well, sounds like that Josh Wiley might have a chance to clear the concussion protocol and be able to give it a go Thursday. Chris Hubbard is also in the concussion protocol, maybe not as rosy for him in terms of being able to make a go of it because he was just placed in it yesterday, obviously. Then the situation with Ryan Tannehill, they continue, Mike Vrabel continues to say that, he's the guy if he's healthy, but I would be absolutely shocked, as I'm sure you would be, if he makes a recovery in time to play Thursday night.
Yeah, so today he went on the record that whenever Ryan does get back, it's his job.
He basically kind of said it would be that way for this week, but I don't think he's committed to that quite for the rest of the year. I mean, I think, if Levis goes out and plays really well again on a short week on the road in Pittsburgh, then if you're the Titans, you've got a keeper right there, because that's about as difficult a task as you can ask for a young quarterback. Hard enough for a veteran quarterback to go and do that. But a guy making his second start, if he goes up there and acquits himself well, then I think, the Titans really have to consider keeping him in there for the long haul.
Terry, I'm obviously going to ask Watson and Kelly this question. We knew going in Levis had a big league arm. There's never been any doubt about that. Their ability to get deep yesterday, not once, but 3 or 4 different times, is that more Atlanta's crappy defensive backs? Is it Will Levis's arm? Is it what? Because this was a big change and really a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's several different things, George. I mean, I think one of it, Atlanta did play a lot of press man coverage, which leads to a lot of one-on-ones and allows receivers to try and win those battles. Another thing, too, I think Levis processes things very quickly, in his mind and far as seeing his reads and what the coverage is dictating. And then the other thing, too, George, as part of that, you mentioned the strong arm. He's got the arm to throw people open when he has to. Maybe one of the best throws he made all day was incomplete, where very early in the game to Traylon Burks along the sideline, a deep out.
Yeah.
And the defensive back knocked it away right at the last second. But that ball was right on point in terms of a quality throw that was down the field. So you see what kind of arm talent this kid has. The thing that I was most impressed, though, other than the arm talent, George, is that he had full command of the offense. He was putting guys in the right spots, making them, move and go in motion and things that, he dictated for them, pointing out the safeties and the people who are the alerts on defense that he needed to take care of and respond to. And then even audibled and changed some plays at the line of scrimmage. That's almost unheard of for a guy making his first start. Usually you want to simplify things and dumb it down for a guy who's never had any experience. But this guy looked like he had written the playbook, much less studied it.
This had to bring a smile up in Lexington to people like Mark Stoops, the offensive staff at Kentucky, because some of that is them. It's apparent he's been trained well. This city is excited, and rightfully so, because this kid kicked butt in his debut, and good for him.
Absolutely. I mean, it was certainly a breath of fresh air because you're going, oh, this is what the offense is supposed to look like. After so many, games of struggling to get to 16 or 17 points.
Short week. They play in Pittsburgh Thursday night at 7:15. Terry, as always, thank you for the visit.
No problem, George. Have a good one.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up at 615-969-4350. Let's head to Murfreesboro. Kelly, how was your weekend?
Good, George. Yourself?
It was good. It was good. I spent a pretty good chunk of Saturday in Tullahoma. I did a dinner where I interviewed for about 45 minutes the greatest catcher, I would say, in Major League Baseball history, in Johnny Bench.
How'd that go? Was it good?
It was not dull.
How many folks were there? Good number?
I'm guessing here because we were in a theater that held about 900. I would say probably 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tullahoma,
Tennessee. The folks in Tullahoma are incredibly nice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really enjoyed the visit up there. It was hard at times to get in the whole college football fix, but I got in enough to be dangerous.
Had to keep up with it, huh?
Oh, I tried my best. I went to the ends of the earth in a couple of them.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from that, man, when you're so used to watching football. It's crazy. But the home of Tullahoma was the home of the late great Bob Hyde. Did you know that?
That's right. Yes, I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
They birthed a good one.
Yeah, I thought about him yesterday when I saw those nice uniforms and Love You Blue, the Love You Blue stuff. I thought about Bob, man. He was such a good guy, and I hate that happened to him. But he was remembered. He's remembered well, and I thought about that when I saw those uniforms and I saw one of those signs that said "Love You Blue."
Yes. Billy, how about your weekend?
It was good. Good weekend. And George, tonight, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Why do you think tonight is a special night in the sports world?
It's the first time Detroit has had a Monday night game in about 5 or 6 years.
Well, yes, but it's also just the 30th time ever that the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and MLS all have games at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
And
there's 11 NBA games, 9 NHL games, 2 MLS playoff games, which
Nashville SC's one of them in Orlando.
Yeah, and then Game 3 of the World Series, and then Monday Night Football tonight.
So this is how many times this has happened?
Only 30 times, and this is the only time this year, 2023, it's going to happen.
Wow!
So sports fans' dream tonight.
Ooh.
But Kelly, you mentioned the
Need 2 TVs on this one.
Yeah, you mentioned the Love You Blue uniforms, Kelly, which were beautiful. By the way, I mean,
awesome.
That looked awesome.
I'm with George. I wish they would go to them all the time.
Well, here's a question I've got. Go ahead and put a picture up there if you can.
Well, I don't have.
You don't have one.
I can show the video of Levis's 3 touchdowns if you want.
No. let me put it this way. Let's say I'm estimating here that the Titans have 45 to 50,000 season ticket holders. Okay, and I happen to be 2 of them. Have 2 seats. If they asked us to vote, I believe, although I can't prove this, that 90% of that audience would say, make those your uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
Put the Titan logo on the helmet if you want.
Yeah.
But this is they go from the worst looking uniform in the league
to one of the
best.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up there at the top.
And maybe that helped them a little bit. I mean, they look good, they play
good,
and you got to believe everything just kind of culminated. You have alums back, and it was just a good feeling everywhere. But do you guys remember early in the season, University of Houston wore these? They wore. I don't know if y'all knew.
I did.
They wore the Love You Blue uniforms. Well, the NFL has slapped their wrist. Their merchandising and licensing division sent a cease and desist letter to the University of Houston demanding that it halts any further use of these uniforms. They were careful.
Oh, wow.
Houston was careful at first to say this was a tribute to H-Town pride in Houston and a nod to the city's fondness of the Oilers. That didn't really work out. So I didn't know if y'all had saw that.
If they were winning, it would probably go over better.
Probably, yeah.
I do think that it's something Amy Strunk ought to consider. It's a really good-looking uniform.
Yeah. Well, we got other NFL news. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins suffered a torn Achilles tendon injury, and he's done for the season.
Hate that for him.
I do too, man. I really like him.
So, Kelly, you know what that does. It brings up – this is such an easy rumor to make up that the Vikings and the Titans will be in a trade for Ryan Tannehill.
It's almost too easy.
But given that Tannehill is not healthy, in your mind, does that absolutely squash that thought?
I don't know if it squashes that thought. I was thinking about that today, though, with the way that Will Levis played. Like they got a little situation now, and I know that Vrabel's trying to put out the fire with that a little bit. But like if you're a team like Minnesota who kind of got on a little winning deal there, they beat San Francisco the other night, looked really good. Kirk Cousins played the best I've seen him play in a while. I've always liked Kirk Cousins. I think he's a good player. And people just hammer him all the time. And then they won yesterday. So
in Green Bay.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why. I could see that. I could see it still happening, George. I really could. If something's going down, I could certainly see that still happening, even though he's injured.
Let me ask you this. You think there's any shot that Arthur Smith, as he walked off that field yesterday, having benched Desmond Ridder, but saying Ritter's our guy, even though Ridder really doesn't deserve it, Taylor Heineke is better than Ridder.
Yep.
Is there anything there where Arthur Smith says, I need to check in with old Ryan Tannehill?
I think it's a situation where you probably put out feelers. You were with this organization for a long time, and you're looking for something. You're looking for a spark. I think Taylor Heineke played really good and gave those guys a spark. I thought yesterday the Titans and the Falcons found their quarterback for this year.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I thought. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put out feelers, but I don't know if Vrabel's at that point. I know that he's got a relationship with Ryan Tannehill. He likes him. Obviously brought him in. So it's going to be interesting to see, though, the next couple of weeks just how this turns out.
Ryan Tannehill did a good job yesterday.
Yes.
In being positive.
Yeah.
On that sideline, because it's just human nature for that to be tough to swallow.
Yeah.
Very human nature.
Even though he's probably upset he's not able to be out there, he doesn't let it, affect him on the sideline. He's still, and for Levis.
I was impressed with that.
Yeah. I mean, how cool is that for Levis to have a veteran like that come over, congratulate you?
Yeah.
I mean, most players would, but there's some that
might
not. So earlier today, the Titans' opponent on Thursday night, the Steelers, head coach Mike Tomlin said that Kenny Pickett will be a game-time decision for Thursday night, and because of his rib injury, he got nailed yesterday. And Minkah Fitzpatrick has also been ruled out. So all of a sudden, the Steelers are looking banged up heading into Thursday night's game.
Did you see the field they played on yesterday?
It looked awful.
Quagmire.
And that's for everybody saying we need to play on grass. That's the reason why you don't anymore, because we're in 2023.
Right, but I get the other point, though, is those guys' livelihoods are on the line. And, for us, it's just aesthetically pleasing.
I'm going to tell you this, Billy. Any day of the week, you give me, if I'm going to play on turf, if I'm going to play on grass, 100% of the time I'm playing on grass. Just, I mean, the smell of the grass. I know it's a lot of upkeep. You have to paint all the time. Your crews have to mow it. You got to keep it growing. I get all that. But like, I think the NFL is after this turf too, because there's things going on with the NFLPA with what happened to Aaron Rodgers and my son Jameson. When they played Army, they actually stopped in New Jersey and practiced at the Meadowlands there. And he was like, "Dad, I can understand why Aaron Rodgers got hurt." He was like, "That turf is so much more stickier than the one that we play on in Troy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable."
Yeah,
Wow.
I've heard that too. Vanderbilt, C.J. Taylor in the Georgia game where he kind of got his ankle buckled, and he had said that it was because it got a little stuck in, I don't know whether it was the pellets or what, but yeah, I do. I see both sides there, but it did look like one of the old mud games.
Yeah,
they're gonna have games like that, man. It's just part of it,
Yeah.
Turkey Bowl.
That's right. I mean, you see the old Browns highlights when Jim Brown was slogging through all that stuff way back when.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
football, man.
That's just football.
Slopping with the Hogs.
Well, speaking of slopping with the Hogs, that's what Iowa's offense has been doing all season.
Oh, my God.
And it just broke today that their offensive coordinator is not expected to return after this season.
Right, but let's be fair. Dad did not go in, according to reports out of Iowa, and tell his son, "Look, you're done." I don't think it happened that way, but if it did, it'll make for a very interesting Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they've had one of the worst offenses the past 3 years. I mean, it hasn't gotten better. And before this season, as we talked about, Brian Ferentz's contract was revised. He took a $50,000 pay cut, and it was mandated by Iowa's administration that he score at least 25 points per game. And this just in, they're not getting there.
No.
They're not even going to be close.
No.
Also, this Saturday, Iowa Northwestern. Guess what the over-under is?
31.5, and it's the lowest.
It's actually 30. I saw it at 30.5, yeah.
It's the lowest
ever.
Over-under, like in
since they started
Vegas history.
Northwestern got a win over
so but we'll let me say this. Somebody has to score. Now that you have overtime, the worst it can be is 2-0. Somebody has to score 2. It's a little like the old ACT, where you got credit if you could spell your name.
They'll need some defensive touchdowns.
That helped me in my ACT days. There's no question.
It helped me too.
Got some lines out. Tennessee is a 34.5-point favorite over UConn.
Tickets still available?
Yep.
Always big, though, when UConn's in town.
Always big. Auburn is a 12.5-point favorite over Vandy on Saturday. That's a 3 o'clock kick. And then next week, Vandy's at South Carolina. That's an 11 a.m. kick. And then Tennessee. Oh, no, Tennessee's off that week. Oh, no, Tennessee's got Missouri. Okay, so Tennessee-Missouri.
When is that one?
Is to be determined November 11th.
TBD.
Yeah, so there's 3 that they're trying to figure out which ones they put on CBS and then which one they put at night. You got Florida, LSU, Ole Miss, Georgia, and then Tennessee, Missouri, all on the same day. So
Ole Miss, Georgia will end up on CBS.
Yeah, that's what I think. And Tennessee, Missouri might get screwed out of that because Florida, LSU could be a good one too.
Tennessee, Missouri ought to be a night game.
I agree.
Is that it?
That'll be it. We got a World Series, Game 3 tonight. Rangers, D-backs, Max Scherzer on the mound.
Yeah, problem is I'm not sure what he's got in the tank right now. Coming off the injury.
Yeah.
It's a tough position. Now, if anybody can gut through it, it's Max Scherzer, who is an absolute bulldog.
The D-backs have that rookie on the mound, right?
Fat. Yeah.
It's a weird name. I think it's Fat.
Whatever it is, he's done well.
He went to Bellarmine. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He played at Bellarmine.
I did not know that either. Wow.
Yeah. Good for him.
The Rangers also have an East Tennessee kid, by the way. He's 21 years old.
Yeah, Carter.
Evan Carter.
The rookie.
Yeah.
He's good
Pretty
stuff.
He had a big hit.
Really good. Okay, after the break, we'll break down the celebration, and rightfully so, because for the first time in a while, there's some excitement in Titanland. It's Will Levis. We'll talk about him when we come back.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, you need to call Bart Durham. And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Watson Brown's Titans Analysis, brought to you by the folks at Pilkerton Realty. Okay, let's get Watson Brown in. He is there. I can hear him in the background. He and Kelly Holcomb will break down what all went on yesterday. Watson, let's start with you. Will Levis looked better than anybody had a right to expect. Give us your thoughts about his performance.
I'd say there's some relief in the building. That's what I would say. Because I saw all the twos that he needs to be a good player in the league. I'm not saying he is yet. I'm not saying he will be. But he has all the twos. I mean, he's got a good sense of timing. He has a strong arm. He is accurate. He can throw in different angles. He can get moving in the pocket. But the MVP yesterday to me was the offensive coordinator. I mean, he put him in so many perfect situations for a young guy. I mean, every one of those touchdown passes were thrown to one guy basically, and honestly, the first couple weren't great throws. The first touchdown pass was thrown way too far inside for a double move going up the boundary. And I thought Hopkins got away with one. That was offensive pass interference big time and wasn't called. The second one was thrown behind Hopkins on a crossing route. He made a much better catch than people say because he's going full speed on a shallow cross and reaches back behind him and then dodges a guy and gets in the end zone. The third one was wide open and he underthrew it, and which is a good throw. I always said, don't overthrow the deep ball to all my guys. And so he was wide open. I mean, just wide open. And underthrew it slightly, but enough to where he could catch it and beat everybody to the goal line. His best throw was his last touchdown. That one, he's moving to his right and kind of stops and off balance a little bit and throws it back way to his left, right on the money. So I think he showed all the pieces that they needed to see. I think they know they got their guy, but now he's got a long way to go. When he was put in, he wasn't put in very many third and longs or pure drop back modes at all in the game. Again, the coordinator protecting him. He'd run a screen. He'd do whatever. You saw a little bit of still where he is on the 2-minute offense. He wasn't anywhere close on any of that. So I don't want to overdo this. I think he's got a long way to go. He also had time to throw that Tannehill nearly never has. And yesterday, the Falcons just didn't ever get close. And he's throwing all those play-action passes, George, with nobody around him. I mean, nobody around him. And so he had a lot of good things that I think it was set up as. Every one of those touchdown passes and nearly every throw he made was throw to one guy. I think he had an easier day yesterday than he had in many college SEC games. Many. Because those throws were, you knew he was going to throw to because of Derrick Henry. He knew he was going to get those throws. He never looked to but one guy and threw it there. I don't know if he ever had a game as easy at Kentucky as he did in the game yesterday.
Interesting stuff. We got two quarterbacks, Watson Brown, who, of course, played quarterback, later was a quarterback guru in his college coaching life. Kelly Holcomb played both in college football and the NFL. Kelly, give me your thoughts on Will Levis.
It's really funny just listening to Coach talk because all the things that he said about some of those throws was like, I said the exact same thing, man. Like the one that he threw the drag route, he was behind. But, I mean, I don't think we can nitpick. I thought yesterday, I was just thinking about this, George, and this one, you know, Coach was right. He threw it way too far inside. And if there's a safety over there, he's going to pick that off. But I thought yesterday I saw a fan base, a team that found themselves having hope. That's kind of what I felt like. I felt like they played with a different mentality. I think with the way, you know, I think everybody's holding their breath, you know, when the game starts because they're not sure. You're a rookie. They're not sure how he's going to play, but then he's up for the moment. I thought he played really mature. I thought he made some things happen, and I'm like, Coach, I thought the offensive coordinator did a good job. I mean, he didn't put him in bad situations. Didn't put him in bad situations, and then I thought that he did. I thought that he did really well. I thought he was prepared for it.
His email?
I don't know what we're hearing in the background. It sounds like we're hearing you and me, Billy, and that could be dangerous. You never know.
I wish I would have gone. I worked basically all day Saturday and slept in a couple more hours.
Whatever it is, let's turn it off because who knows
I was going to get up at 9 and then go over
Oh, my bad.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
Kelly,
But
any thoughts there?
I don't. Yeah, Billy needs to stop, dude, because that was getting into things that we don't need to hear about, Billy.
Woo,
Okay,
we don't need to hear.
I thought yesterday, and I don't know how y'all felt. It just seemed like a different atmosphere around the whole stadium, around the whole team. And like Coach said, I think some people can take some deep breaths because they feel like that they probably made the right decision in the draft. Now, with that being said, I've got to reiterate what Coach also said is this is a long process. And that was his first game. They played really well in this first game. I do get tired of hearing people talk about Atlanta because Atlanta's not a bad football team. They're struggling at the quarterback position, but like they came in 4-3, so they're not a bad football team. And it helped with him being at home, obviously yesterday, but it just felt the energy in the whole stadium on the whole sideline felt different to me yesterday.
Kelly, I agree with you, and I do think the uniform is part of it. You had a reunion weekend. They designated it as, bring back the old Love You Blue uniforms. And, obviously we've already talked about that. So let me kind of pivot from there to Watson. Do you think that this is enough to say this kid's going to make it in the NFL?
Well, it needs to be. I think it is, but it needs to be for them. They've put a lot of money in two quarterbacks here in the last two very big, important draft pieces, one third and one real high in the second. And he needs to be. I think so. Now, do they go ahead and try to get something for Ron now? I don't know. It's going to be real interesting to watch the next 2 days. I don't know that I would. If they think they got a chance, and there's no doubt in the mind, the division, the Titans, I think, are still better than the Texans and still better than the Colts, even though they lost to the Colts. But I still think there's hope for this year. They're 2 down to Jacksonville, but they play them twice. And I'm not saying that they're going to win all these games. They're not, but neither is Jacksonville. There's going to be some losses. So do you keep Ron around in case he levels out a little bit? And if you had to, what you'd really like to do is go with him. Just go with him the rest of the way. I still a little bit don't want to overdo. I wasn't real comfortable watching him in the 2-minute, and then there was a couple of third and longs later on. I could tell he's not ready for that just yet. But George, he's got the pieces. I don't see a throw he can't make. He's a big, strong kid. He's strong in the pocket. He holds the ball strong. He stepped up in the pocket. He tried to run a couple times, got caught, but the ball wasn't loose. His fundamentals look very good to me. His head was up. Kelly will vouch for this. You can tell a quarterback by where his eyes are. And when that old head's jumping around, he's seeing that rush. Or when you freeze like Malik would do some in his early time, you're confused. And I didn't see any of that with him yesterday. Again, though, Coach Kelly made it easy throws. I want to reiterate, I think that was one of his easier games. I think he had a lot tougher reads and things to do at Kentucky. And usually you'd say the opposite about an NFL guy over a college guy. But by the style of play with the Titans and their offense that's already put in there, why in the world they didn't do that more with Ryan Tannehill's beyond me. Why didn't they give him those throws? And the other thing I wanted to say, that's the way to use Hopkins. Hopkins don't have the all-out speed anymore. We've been running him on takeoffs a lot, and he makes plays on those. I'm not saying that because his talent of judging the ball and positioning himself to make a play is top of the line. But put him on double moves because we use him a lot on outs and curls and square ends, and put him on those double moves like they did yesterday. And that second one, he ate that safety absolutely alive. The guy wasn't even in the picture. So I watched Levis go up to Hopkins on the third catch that he made after he beat that guy so bad. And he put his hands together like he was Thank you, Lord. Thank you for giving me this guy. And he's exactly right, because Hopkins made his day yesterday getting himself open like that. But I'm 100% think he's got it. Now, Kelly will tell you this. Does he finish it, and can he make all the plays as he has to grow and he starts seeing the complicated looks, and they've got to put him in more situations as he goes? You can't just do what they did with him yesterday in time. You just can't do it. They're not going to stay ahead like that. There'll be a lot of reasons they can't do that. Now, does he grow with it? None of us know the answer to that, because that's just time spent. Is his time spent in the league now as he grows, and can he develop to make all those plays and handle all the looks and all of that, and handle pressure, because he didn't get much pressure yesterday? How's he going to make those same throws with people in his face? Because he didn't have anybody in his face when he was making those throws yesterday. So, but I feel really good. And what I said earlier, George, to me, the building, the coaches, the administrators, the GM, the assistant GM, I think everybody took a deep breath when they saw what happened yesterday.
Kelly?
Yeah, I'm with him. I thought yesterday was really good, and I think it deserves. I mean, the fans are just they were ecstatic yesterday, and I think it deserves going forward more action. And I'm with Coach, man. I thought that he played well. He was poised, and I think what he gives this offense, George and Coach, is Ryan Tannehill could. I mean, he's older now. He gives you the ability to escape things. When you got an offensive line that struggles like the Titans do, he gives you an ability to get away from stuff and make some plays with his feet. Ryan Tannehill's not really trying to do that. Although he's done it a little bit this year, but he's just past that part of his life where he can make things happen with his feet. And I think that's what Will Levis can give you as well. But I like his decision making yesterday. That goes back to obviously play calling, but he was decisive about it. And that's the good thing about being a quarterback. Sometimes you're not going to make the right decisions, but as long as you're making a decision and not holding the ball, that's what I look at. And Tom Moore did a great job with Peyton. He did a great job with me about understanding that. Make the defense work, complete balls, whether it's a swing route or a stick route to a tight end or a hitch. Complete balls and make the defense make a tackle. And I was just impressed with that yesterday. Now, we got to pump the brakes on that a little bit because that was his first game. And he had a really good first game. He threw 4 touchdown passes. So he played really well yesterday. But, I mean, it's a long season and it's a long career, and you've got to have some things go on your side. You got to be injury-free, which he kind of had the injury bug at Kentucky. You're going to have games that you're not very consistent. That's what you're looking for as a quarterback, George. Sure. You're trying to be consistent. You're trying not to turn the ball over. And not every game is going to be a great game for you, but you're just trying to get consistent where, hey, if you give me an opportunity, I'm going to complete balls. And if we can get it to the end of the game, we got a chance to win. That's what I want as a quarterback. And that was one game. One game does not make a career because I've been in a stadium where I threw a touchdown pass and 80,000 folks cheered me. And then the next play, I come back out and throw a pick and those same 80,000 folks booed me. So, I mean, that's just part of the game, and you got to learn how to live with it.
Okay. Yesterday.
George, one last thing with that. I thought his best throw in the game was a short outcut to Phillips into the boundary. And he looked deep, and he came back quick and threw that quick out at about 6-7 yards on time, which means, because that don't take long to get to that cut, that means that he's getting through a progression pretty quick. And so I thought that was the best throw I saw him make in the day, other than that deep crossing route. Now that was phenomenal. But let's add this to give you a little light to don't overdo what happened yesterday. There's another guy in his first game ever in NFL threw 4 touchdown passes. Who was it?
Marcus Mariota.
And it was Marcus
Mariota.
Yeah. Really?
So we gotta be careful. But I just saw all the pieces. I like the the techniques, the physicalness, the quick release, all that, which is what we as Kelly and I would be looking at. And I liked all of that now. I thought he had all of those pieces, which I've seen other guys in the NFL that I don't think have those pieces, and yet they're playing in the NFL.
The only real negative that came out of yesterday was the decision on the fourth play on offense to bring Malik Willis in for whatever it is they're dying to show us about him, as though we haven't already seen it. Forget the fact that the snap, the center, it was not accurate, and that's not Malik's fault. But what in the hell are they thinking as you're trying to get your starting quarterback into a rhythm? 3 plays in, you're going to take him out for that? Really?
Yeah, you're right. Doing it that early, I agree. But I think they were going to have him ready if Levis didn't come through.
Agree.
So I think they had to work on both during the week because, oh my gosh, we put Will out there and he's just not getting it done. Then we got to have some things to do with Malik. I would like to think that was the thought process, George, but I'm with you. Third play of the game now. And I didn't think that's fair to Malik. I think one of the hardest
that's
things
what I
do,
felt the worst about.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing in the world to do is be standing over there and not be in the game and then got to run out for a play and then come right back out. It's different if you're a backup quarterback and you don't think you're playing, and all of a sudden the starter gets hurt and you go play. But this one play in and then out, I just think that is one of the hardest things in the world to do. So I thought they weren't very fair to Malik yesterday.
Hello, Kelly.
Well, I'm kind of with you. I don't have anything else to say about that. I don't. It was just like Vrabel is going to make his point. He told you that both quarterbacks are going to play, so we're going to put him in for a couple of rinky-dink plays and see what happens. But I'm that's tough on him, and it's tough on another quarterback too when you're in there and you're trying to get, like you said, George, you're trying to get into a rhythm. And when you get in a rhythm, you won't want to be brought out of a game. And then they do that, and it just seemed like Mike Vrabel had been saying it all week. You will see both quarterbacks. Well, we saw both quarterbacks, but we only saw one for 2 plays. The other guy played the game, and he played the game of his life so far. But, going back to Will Levis, I never saw him. And Coach may be right about this. He might not have had an easier game yesterday because he had a bunch of tough games when he was at Kentucky, and I've never seen him play like that. I had my doubts about him, and you still have to doubt things sometimes. But like I said, that was the first game, and one game does not make a career. So good for him. I'm glad for him. I'm glad for the Titans. They were able to get a win, and the fans, they've got some hope now, and we'll see what happens going forward.
Watson, Kelly, let me ask you this. Is it just me, or did the Titans' offensive line in pass protection look a lot better?
I didn't see a get-off. I didn't see a get-off in the Falcons. I didn't see a press. And who knows, Billy, is that they just stalled them, stunned them? Was it play calling because it's a rundown? They were around him a little bit on the few times they let Will throw in the 3rd and long situations. They were around. They were back in the backfield. But on those early downs, I don't know if they're just playing the run. I just didn't see any penetration at all, and I'm not sure what that would be. We're going to know pretty quick. You play the Steelers. You play the Steelers on Thursday night now. Will's going to see a different look, and I would bet my bottom dollar the Steelers don't sit there like the Falcons did and not bring people. Now, to defend the Falcons with that, it's a lot of first and second and fourth calls where they're throwing balls. And so it's hard to bring those pass rush pressures with 5 guys or whatever on run downs. It's hard to do. And so I can't wait to see, though, on the road in Pittsburgh, tough place to play, right on that river. I've been in that stadium, taking teams there as a coach and playing in there when we used to play Pittsburgh and the University of Pittsburgh. And that's not an easy place to throw a ball in either. So I think it's going to be real interesting to see where this goes from Sunday now to Thursday night.
Watson, as always, appreciate it. We'll do this again here very soon.
Okay, guys. Talk to you.
Watson Brown, Kelly, don't you go anywhere after the break. We will hear from Will Levis. Stay tuned.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Well, let's face it. The words Will Levis, that's the water cooler talk today in this city. It was a debut that has got a lot of people excited. He went to the podium after the game, and here's a little bit of what the former University of Kentucky star had to say.
Game I love, and there's nothing better than winning a football game. And Coach Vrabel was saying, we made it a little harder than we needed to, but we got the win. That's all that matters, and got to get ready for this short week against Pittsburgh.
What was your nerve level coming in, Will? And any anxiety? And if so, did it go away?
I was up and down all the last couple of weeks. I think there were certain days where I was kind of, feeling the butterflies a little bit, but really just, confidence and just keeping that neutral, headspace on everything. And I didn't really have any of those feelings today, so that was good.
It's been a while since you played. How'd you manage to maybe get that kind of?
Yeah, I was telling Travis in our locker room, I was like, I think you're the last person to hit me since we brought you over from Chicago. But, just playing quarterback, obviously season through season, you're going that long amount of time without getting hit. But, it's football. I'm used to it, obviously, playing as long as I have. And it's good to be able to play the full game.
How big was DeAndre Hopkins? How big was that for you, and what was going on there?
It was good. I was just trusting what I saw, and we knew that we might have some opportunities to go over the top on them, and we weren't necessarily going to force it, but just wanted to make sure I was making the right decision, and he was obviously doing a good job of getting open.
How much did your confidence grow throughout the course of the game as you started to have success in the team moving the ball?
I was confident all game. I was really just taking it one play at a time. Just all the other guys doing their jobs was giving me confidence, and knowing that everyone, for the most part, their head was in the right spot, and we were clicking them all 11 of 11. So just was trying to take it one play at a time.
It was kind of at a crossroads, Will, and really kind of needed a spark and something to build on. How pleased are you to be the guy to come in and offer that, and now something maybe to build on going forward?
Yeah, I'm just one of 11. There's a lot of guys that did their jobs today that won us that game. 7 being one of them. Malik, really, that left a sour taste in all of our mouths when we were hearing those boos when he was coming on the field. And we got to know that he's going to be a big part of us going forward to win games. So let's just come correct next time as fans and treat him correctly.
Brent mentioned that you usually go to the offensive line dinner each week, but you missed it this week, and he said you were probably studying up. How much did your preparation play factor in your confidence today?
It wasn't that. My sister was in town, so I was out to dinner with her. But I definitely was, studying a little bit extra than usual. But I think how I approached things beforehand, before I even started, and the regimented schedule I had, I didn't really tweak much. So what I did before just helped me prepare for this moment.
The offensive line, to go deep as often as you did, and you obviously hit several, was close on others. They gave you time to throw. And did you feel that you had all the time you needed back there when you had to?
Yeah, I definitely at times, we felt a little pressure, but they kept me clean. I think I really only got sacked once, and I don't know if that other one was a sack, but and I gave myself up on that one. But they did a great job. I got to give props to all those dudes up front, and they played a heck of a game, and did their jobs, and that's all we can ask for.
Was that designed for you to go all the way across the field like that?
Yeah. We were just doing something off of a traditional kind of boot that you see a lot of teams do, and he gave a good head fake to that safety, get him to lean, came back across. It was kind of lower in the red zone. I knew I had to get it up and down a little bit, or at least pull him across the field more. So it was nice. There's no better feeling than laying on your back and seeing the touchdown go out.
Was that 100% effort throw for you, or do you still have some left in the tank?
No, that wasn't. I don't know. I just made the throw that I needed to throw, or that I needed to.
Be late and talked about you being a sweater. Were you about out of gas at the end?
No, it was weird because it's not like I was really doing anything too strenuous. I've worked a lot harder, and strained myself more at practice and stuff. But just had something I needed to take care of, and it wasn't really necessary, but I knew that it was going to help me, so just got the IV to handle it.
You always hope and dream for an NFL debut like this, but do you even find yourself, look back at the numbers and so forth, going, wow?
This is a dream come true for sure. But we have what time is it right now?
3:48.
Yeah, I got 12 minutes to celebrate it before we're on to Pittsburgh, as Vrabel said. So, but like you said, I've been dreaming of this moment as a kid my entire life. Even just to touch the field in an NFL game, let alone get a win, is incredible.
I think they gave you the keys to the offense quite a bit today. Maybe more so than somebody making their first start. How many times would you say that you checked out of a play and had to go to something different and it worked out?
I don't know. I was just going off my rules and what was asked me at the position. I think that I got to thank Coach Kelly and Coach London for preparing me these last couple of weeks. I thought the game plan was, just really fitting for what we were going against and for it being my first start and everything. So, we have multiple ways we can open up the playbook, and we showed some of that today. But props to them for putting me in a position to succeed today.
Could the early throw to Burks that didn't hit? Could the early throw to Burks that didn't hit have been maybe your best throw of the game or one of them?
It felt good. I'll watch the tape, but we trust that we're going to make those type of plays downfield, and we'll make the next one there. It was pretty nice throw, I guess.
You didn't have a full platform on that or anything.
Yeah, I went from him back to the dagger, back to him, which usually doesn't work out. But next time maybe you can hit the flat for a first down.
Well, people talk about finding out about, you can't find out about NFL quarterbacks until they actually play in real games. Do you feel like you found anything out about yourself today?
It just gave me more confidence. I feel like I think I always had a good amount of confidence, but obviously to go out, do it, win, that just builds it a little bit more. But obviously got to keep stacking. Got a lot to learn from. Had far from a perfect game, and that's what we got to strive for.
Every time you've played in the state before, you've gotten booed, I guess. What was it like? I guess the fan support, a couple of times they put you up on the video board and people were kind of going crazy. I know they showed your family in the crowd. Big time. What was the day like from an emotional standpoint?
I got to focus on just the family part there. Like I had 20 plus friends and family here to celebrate this moment with me, win or lose. I knew they were going to be there supporting me, and for it to kind of go down the way it did with them in the stands to me right after the game, reminiscent of college feelings of similar games and wins with mom and dad in my arms. That's what it's all about. Got so much love for so many people, and glad I got a good circle around me.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
That is a great feeling.
Yep, absolutely. He can be. He did good yesterday. For a rookie to come in and play the way he did, throw 4 touchdown passes. He did well. And I just, George, do you think that the Skoronski and the Petit Freer guy, did that have a big difference on their O-line? Because they were in yesterday.
Kelly, you probably know it better than I would just from your experience in football. Number one, it did seem like they got better.
Yep.
Is Levis able to maneuver better than Tannehill at this point? I don't know. It looked like it.
Yes.
It felt like it.
Yeah, I say yes on that. And you look at what Derrick Henry did. Derrick Henry had over 100 yards rushing yesterday. It was tough yards, but he had over 100 yards rushing yesterday. So if they can keep the continuity of that offensive line and nobody getting hurt, maybe they got a chance to get better, and maybe it fixes itself. I don't know. I think they need I still think they got a few holes, but it was much better yesterday. That's for sure.
Well, it's a boost that this franchise needed because there's been a malaise, sort of I don't know about fan disinterest, but fans really on the fence post of what's going on. 4 words, 4 letters, hope. There is a little bit of hope all of a sudden. After the break, stat of the day, there is no hope for that. And then we'll get into the college football weekend. There's a lot to talk about. Stay tuned.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Monday. It's time to react to all the college football that happened over the weekend. But first, stat of the day brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards out in Shelbyville. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew has cooked up for us today. I think we're going NFL as I get to it here. And yes, we are. Here we go. A.J. Brown now has 6 straight games with at least 125 receiving yards, breaking a tie with what 2 players for the longest such streak in NFL history?
Okay, Kelly, would it be easy to say Jerry Rice is one of them?
You got to be. I would think got to be, yeah.
Give me who you think the other one is.
That's a tough one, George. Steve Largent?
Oh, wow. You're going way back.
Yeah, I don't know.
These guys don't even know who Steve Largent is.
No.
Well, shame on them.
Yes.
There's one of them that goes way back, and then there's one of them that's pretty recent, fairly recent.
You're saying it's not Jerry Rice.
So then Jerry Rice is not it.
It's not Jerry Rice.
It's not Largent. It's not Largent either.
No, that didn't shock me.
Man, this is the bad thing about it. They showed this stat the other day on the game, and I forget it.
Oh, wow.
Kelly will say that every other stat of the day. He sees it, but he can't remember it.
I do. I saw it the other day, man. They put that stat up there because A.J. Brown was obviously in the 6th game of his 5th game being 125 receiving yards in those games. And they showed it, and I'm like, golly, I cannot remember any of them.
Oh, this is awful.
Let
me ask you this. It wouldn't be a Dolphin in that old Mark Clayton and Duper. They didn't throw that much. Okay, Kelly.
What about like Marshall Faulk? Would Marshall Faulk be one of them?
Receiving yards?
Yeah, absolutely. That dude was unbelievable out of the backfield.
Oh, I hadn't thought.
We used to use him a lot.
We could be here till 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
We're not
crazy.
getting this.
All right.
Reveal.
Pat Studstill.
Oh, good Lord. We wouldn't have gotten that.
Who is that?
I don't even know. Oh, Kelly doesn't know who that is.
I know who it is.
That's how you know.
Calvin Johnson. Wow.
So
Calvin Johnson.
I got a Calvin Johnson story here real
Georgia
quick.
Tech.
Well, yeah. So I have agreed to do a package of their games that I ended up doing for a couple of years. And I see this beast during this scrimmage, and I'm like, oh, my Lord, who is that? So after the scrimmage is over, Chan Gailey, who was the coach at Georgia Tech, comes over to thank me for caring enough to drive down. And Wes Durham says, don't thank him. Says, the only reason he's here is because the Braves are in town. And so Chan Gailey looks at me and he goes, is that true? And I looked at him and I said, maybe. Okay, well, let's move right along, shall we?
Pat Studstill. Wow. We would have been here forever.
Yeah.
That means Wes knew you well.
Wes and I knew each other well. Wes and I are good friends. He would fit in really well with Kelly. Two absolute smart Alecks going at it. Okay, we ready to get into college?
Yep.
Kelly, did Bo Nix become the leader in the clubhouse in the Heisman Trophy race?
I think Michael Penix is still. I think he's still there. I mean, he beat Bo Nix. Yeah, he beat Bo Nix at the University of Washington when they played a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's. I have trouble with Bo. I have trouble with Bo Nix's game only because I didn't have his game. You get what I'm saying? Like he's. Man, he's become really accurate as a quarterback, and he makes plays. Obviously, running around, which I could not do, which I get aggravated that guys that can, and I couldn't. I don't think he's overtaken Michael Penix, but he is right up there neck and neck with him in the Heisman. There's no question because what he's doing, and your little silly underdog pick the other day didn't work out well for you on your most mentally tough. The most mentally tough team, they waxed those guys in their own place, and they had won 16 in a row. So
let me do it again.
Hey, forget that, But he's up there with Michael Penix. Yes.
Remember, you heard this. If Oregon and Washington end up playing for the Pac-2 title, Oregon is your winner.
I agree.
It might be.
I tend to agree.
Might be.
Yep.
Meanwhile, there was a day in time where Kansas was right there with Vandy, the dregs of college football society. Their coach, Lance Leopold, interviewed for the Vandy job a couple of years ago. He now, in my opinion, is the hottest commodity of coaches who big schools will be looking at. Look at that deal. So they beat Oklahoma. I mean, think about that. There were years where they were 35 and 40-point dogs to the Sooners, and they beat them. Good for Kansas.
They beat them with a backup quarterback, too. Their backup quarterback who can run.
Yeah.
But, man, some of his decision-making sometimes is just – it was wearing me out because I was watching that game. But, the Lance Leopold, he came from a smaller school.
Buffalo.
Was it the University of Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, out of the MAC. Came from a smaller school, obviously a really good coach. It's hard to get people to Kansas, but, man, he's doing a really, really good job. And even if they lost the game, they were still in the game the whole way. And you got to give it to those guys. It was obviously in Kansas. It was cold. The weather had gotten cold. But they hadn't beaten the Sooners in how many years, George? Do we know, Billy?
I saw it had been a while. Yeah.
It's been a long, long time that they beat the Sooners, and
War of 1812.
I don't know if that was it, but here's what I want to ask you. Like, it looked like at the end of the game, the Sooners allowed them to score because they kind of just gave up, and it kind of backfired on them because that didn't. I just don't know about that. You never know, and I understand why you do it, but it backfired on the Sooners the other day. Now, when they had that big play where they called pass interference and the kid caught that ball inside the 30, I'm like, here we go again. They're going to beat them again, but it didn't happen. Their defense came through.
And
kudos to Kansas.
Yeah, and now Oklahoma has to get up off the mat and play at Oklahoma State, who has been playing a lot better recently.
Bedlam.
Yeah. So
okay. While I was interviewing Johnny Bench, Tennessee was playing Kentucky in Lexington. And it appears off what I was able to hear in the fourth quarter, listening to the game on the way home, that Joe Milton probably played as good as he has played in getting them that win. Kelly, I don't know if you saw it or not. If you did, give me some thoughts.
I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't see much of it. I just go back to what Tony Basilio always talks about. UT has problems with Florida, but Kentucky has problems with UT. And that's just kind of what I thought, because it was forever before Kentucky ever even beat UT. And it just seems that way. It just seems like they've got a stigma with playing the Vols that they just cannot get through. Now, they're going to beat them every now and then, that's for sure. I thought Devin Leary played pretty good. He played a pretty good game. But when it boils down to it, they just they couldn't stop the run game of UT. Joe Milton was in part of that run game as well. And then he played pretty good. I mean, he threw the ball well. He was accurate with the football, and he was able to escape some things and make some plays on his feet. So it's just I just don't think Coach Stoops, they have trouble with UT, and they've got to get over that stigma until they do. Tony Basilio is right. They cannot beat UT. It doesn't matter if it's in Knoxville or if it's in Lexington. They just struggle with them.
Georgia ripped Florida around in the cocktail party. So good shot of it right there. That's the Gator Bowl, or whatever they call it now in Jacksonville, Alltel Stadium. So do you all feel better that Georgia can survive no Brock Bowers than you did beforehand?
I think so. Yeah, I think they've got players, though, and I think that's what the bet guy said after the game. Everybody was wondering how things were going to be during the game without Brock Bowers, but he was like, we just showed that we've got plenty of playmakers. I mean, he threw that wheel route to that one tight end that's obviously a backup to Brock Bowers, and he caught it with one hand. So they've still got talent. They've still got, and Brock Bowers has nothing to do with the defense, and that's where Kirby Smart has always made his living, on the defensive side of the ball. So they're still really good. They still got speed. They still got big guys up front. They can run the football. You look at Billy Napier right there. It seems like, he was up here after they beat UT, and then they get drubbed, and then he goes back up. They beat somebody, and then they get drubbed by Georgia. So I'm just not sure how much solid ground he's on right now, to be honest with you.
And after the game, he said, we're not there yet. I mean, I like coaches that say we're not there yet. Georgia's a lot better than us right now.
We knew it whether he said it or not.
Right. But I mean, I think Florida, there's some people out there that thought Florida might be able to at least cover. I mean, they got bludgeoned. I mean, that was just 26 straight unanswered. And that's the most impressive thing with Georgia. They're able to just flip a switch and say, all right, you scored first, let's go drop 26 on you. Unlike any team, I mean, Saban's Bama teams used to feel like they'd be able to do that. Not anymore, though. I mean, Smart has that team in the palm of his hand, and it's really impressive. Like that Vandy game, that was somewhat interesting for about a quarter, and then you felt the whole stadium. You felt a flip of the switch, and that's what Georgia can do. And also Oscar Delp, that tight end, Kelly. I don't know if he's a freshman or sophomore or what. He's another mini Brock Bowers. I mean,
he's good.
They replace guys. They have many versions of just about every player in the backup roles, and that was a proving ground of Georgia's still Georgia.
So now comes their 3 tough ones in a row: home against Missouri, who has been to me, the most pleasant surprise in the league.
Yeah.
Home against Ole Miss, who more and more feels like a team that could give Georgia some trouble, and then go to Knoxville where listen to this pun, it'll be a dogfight. So, yeah. You like that?
That's weak, George. Weak.
I know it is.
That's
Kelly,
weak.
after the break, we're going to go with the top 4. And let me tell you this. Tomorrow is the first committee releasing of the poll. Kelly, I plagiarized. I'm placing your name on my work.
Well, that's going to be the top 4. I mean, what else are you going to do? That's the top 4 in the country right now. I really believe that.
I expanded to 6. We'll see if
you
you
did.
buy
Okay.
those 6 when we come back. And then the award-winning studs and duds. So stick around.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Okay, a couple of college football notes before we reveal the top 4 turned into 6. Kelly, this week we go from Conference USA to the MAC for the Tuesday and Wednesday night games.
Maction.
Which leads us to this thought. Once you go MAC,
you never go back.
Go back.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Also, breaking news, George. Colorado players report jewelry swiped from the UCLA locker room after the game on Saturday. So they were missing their jewelry and chains after they lost to UCLA when they got back to the locker room after the game. So I'm sure the UCLA
I'll say this,
department,
that team has a lot of bling bling.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe don't bring all that bling to the locker room with you.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Leave it at the house, or leave it in your dorm, or leave it in your apartment. Don't bring it.
Although Shadur Sanders wants to show it to the Arizona State student section. That's what he
did.
Well, Shadur can go buy some more. I mean, he don't have to worry about it. He can go buy him another Rolex.
Easily.
Not only through his own NIL deal, but he can go to daddy and say, pony up.
That's right.
Okay. Kelly, the experts are saying that Ohio State will end up tomorrow number 1 in which I don't see why.
They have the 2 best wins. That's probably why.
That's why. That's the only reason. Because they beat Penn State and Notre Dame. Yeah.
Okay. So this is where I went with it. Until Georgia loses, they're at the top.
You, not Kelly.
Well, this is plagiarized. Well, if people don't agree with it, it's Kelly's.
It's my fault. That's good. I've got big shoulders, George. I've had to do that before.
Right. Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, Florida State 4. Do you agree that those are the 4?
I do, yes.
Well, that's wonderful. That's beautiful.
Because they're mine.
Florida. Washington is 5th, and about that far behind them is Oregon.
I
think a lot of people might have written Oregon off.
No,
but
don't
they
do it.
are.
Oregon's good, man.
They're really good.
They're really good on both sides of the ball, and got guys that can run and they do good things on special teams too. So they've got a complete football team. And if it wasn't for the heroics of Michael Penix in the last waning minutes of that game, they beat Washington at Washington.
Yeah, it's going to get really interesting if Michigan and Ohio State both win out, and Washington and Oregon both went out before those 4 teams face each other again. I mean, depending on what happens, if Oregon beats Washington, are they both in? And then if
depends on what kind of beating.
Yeah. Because that's the question at that point.
Yeah.
If it's a blowout, Oregon might be in over Washington. If it's a tight win, I mean, there's a case for both to be in.
Well, who knows? I mean, does a Penn State beat a Michigan?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know how many spies will be at the game.
Yeah, I said this last week, guys, and it's just amazing to me. And what do y'all think about this? Like, the Pac-12 is going to be none next year. It's the Pac-2. And then they've probably got, from top to bottom, the best conference in the country this year. So are they rethinking, like, why did we do that? Like, why did we do that? We've got teams. Washington State's coming on. Washington's really good, obviously. Oregon State's really good. You got Oregon, who's always there. You got USC and UCLA. I mean, it's amazing. And Arizona's come on. Arizona State's kind of the mop-up crew, but Arizona's playing better. Are they rethinking? Like, why did we do that?
Well,
I don't know.
I think they're probably fans in, the larger fan bases. Washington, Oregon State. They've got a lot of people supporting those programs. Now, UCLA, Cal, some of those teams, not as much. But we're in the Southeast. We just don't hear it. Like, if we were in the Washington, Oregon area, they're probably outraged.
There's probably a lot of talk.
So, especially with Washington State and Oregon State, those are 2 fan bases that I feel bad for in that regard.
Okay, so if Georgia isn't number 1 tomorrow night, what number are they?
2.
Who?
Just because Michigan hasn't played anybody yet.
Yeah, I mean they've had such a light schedule to begin with, and I don't know. It's gonna all of it's gonna boil down to when both those two teams play. But I think if you're gonna move Ohio State up to number one, which I can understand that, they go and they beat a really good Notre Dame team at Notre Dame. If Notre Dame is not ignorant in the final couple of seconds of that game, they win that game, and then you're not talking about Ohio State in the same light. Washington would be in the top four. Somebody's going to lose that football game. Florida State keeps rolling. They're a really good football team. So I think if you're going to move Ohio State up, you got to move Georgia to number 2 and then Michigan number 3 maybe. But it's going to be interesting to see when this first poll comes out.
Well, I think Kirby Smart is just fine with his team maybe being at 2 or 3. I think that gives him a little bit of bulletin board material. Not that they need it, but I don't think none of these coaches really care. But
they just want to be in the 4.
Yeah, knowing Kirby Smart, I think he low key likes kind of not being at 1 and kind of laying a little bit in the weeds, maybe more so.
Are we now ready for award-winning studs and duds?
I think we are.
Studs and duds starts with Kansas.
Rock chalk.
They are a football school.
Whoa! They did lose an exhibition to Illinois.
I wouldn't go that far just yet,
No,
George. I wouldn't go that far just yet.
But really happy for them. I mean,
it's awesome seeing programs like this that just are never good, and now they're good.
Now, can they sustain it? I don't know. Here's what I think I know. Lance Leopold won't be their coach next year.
Do you not think so, George? I mean,
no.
That's just like
it
just depends on
Kansas.
But you're kind of like maybe that coach wants that. Maybe he wants to be at a program like that. Maybe he wants to be at Kansas where you don't have all the pressure. You're making really good money and you can win. I mean, he showed that he can win games there. So it all depends on what he wants. But you may be right. I don't know.
2 words: Matt Campbell. 2 years ago, hottest commodity going these days. Who's Matt Campbell?
Kelly's right,
you
though.
Never hear it.
He's going to have a decision to make. There's a difference between being offered all that money and actually saying yes and wanting to move. So we'll see. I think they're doing renovations to that stadium. So
they need to. I've been there.
Maybe really?
Did you
back
see
in the 80s? A Vanderbilt team of ours played Kansas out there.
Who scheduled that matchup?
Well, it was a home and home. I want to say it was 85 we went out there. And it doesn't look like they've done much to it since then. Stud number 2, the O. That was a beatdown.
I didn't even watch it. I checked the score, and I was like, it's not even worth watching.
Utah had an 18-game home winning streak, one of the 2 or 3 longest in the country. That had me enthused to take the Utes. Ugh.
They just ran out of gas.
Underdog picks. Very bitter. Extremely bitter. Great win for Utah. Number 3, Louisville shut out Duke. Now, I don't know, and I haven't been able to find out. Did Riley Leonard not play in that game?
He did not play.
No, that explains.
Hold on. Are you sure he didn't play, Billy?
Yes, I'm sure, Kelly.
Are you absolutely positive?
Well, let me confirm with.
That means not totally certain.
But if they lost 23-0,
I'm pretty sure I saw his name in the stats.
Oh, you checked the Duke Louisville stats.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I saw.
If you're wrong,
his name in the stats.
You will have taken on some water.
It's okay.
Look at Kelly doing more research than me.
How good is Louisville, though? I mean, they.
Oh, he did.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Billy, come on, man.
Okay,
be professional, Hoss. Let's go. Do your studies, man. Let's go.
He was 9 of 23 for 121 yards. He was obviously not.
He
even
wishes
close to 100%.
he had not played.
Yes.
Jeff
he still
Brom,
played.
I think Jeff Brom's a heck of a football coach.
He is pretty good, man. He's and that's his alma mater. He's from the Louisville area. I got a college teammate that played with him in high school, and he's obviously doing some good things. He wanted to come back there, and he's a good offensive mind. he's really aggressive as a play caller, and he seems like a really good head coach. So it's no surprise that they're there. It's just surprise that he's doing it this quick.
They've got a running back by the name of Jawar Jordan, 21 carries, 163 yards, and 2 touchdowns on Saturday. He's going to be playing on Sundays.
Nobody's going to want to play Louisville in the future.
No.
Stud number 4. Oh, yeah. I love them.
God,
those
so
uniforms look great.
I agree, man. I mean, it's so much different than their regular uniforms. Like I always love the powder blue. It's so different than what they have now. It's just I would go to that if I was the owner. I'm definitely telling the coaches, telling the staff that I think we may go back to these uniforms.
Yeah.
There's something about the red stripe outline.
The red stripe looks good. You know, do you put the Titan logo on the helmet? I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, those are the 4 studs. And now we have the ACC-dominated duds, beginning with Maryland. Really? You couldn't go to Northwestern and beat them? Oh, my gosh.
Northwestern must be better than we thought. I think, what are they? Aren't they 4-4?
They're 4-4. Yes.
Are they really?
Yeah,
yes.
They've beaten.
Wow.
They are.
They've got this Ben Bryant's actually a pretty good quarterback.
Oh, wow. I may need to rethink that.
They stopped all the hazing, George. They stopped the hazing, dude. Hey, we've got on track now.
Yeah. Dud number 2. Clemson. You know, right now, all this talk about Dubnik. What's it? Klubnik. Dubnik, whatever. Kelly, it isn't happening.
Yeah, I know, George. I don't know. He's a young guy, but Trevor Lawrence. He is not so far. He was highly recruited coming out of high school, but you've got to have pieces around you too, George. And I don't think that he's got the exact kind of pieces that Trevor Lawrence had around him. I think the talent level it hadn't gone way down, but it's gone down from when they were in all these national championships. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence was throwing to T. Higgins, Jordan Ross, Justin Ross, Amari Rogers. Cade Klubnik's throwing to high school receivers. I mean,
it's different.
Wow.
They're bad. Like, they have no one at receiver.
I know. I listened to it.
Sorry, George.
You know, really up for them.
Yeah, you know what? I had 2 chances to win this week, and both of mine won. The first one I won with Kansas, and then my second pick was the NC State Clemson game, and I would have won that one as well. I was excited about those picks.
Kelly, good for you.
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
somebody's happy. I've decided to get out of the competition
and be replaced with
I'll
Chase.
Announce my resignation. Okay. Dud number 3 is living proof that one loss can turn into 2. North Carolina was way ahead in the third quarter and could not close the deal against Georgia Tech.
And all of a sudden, their defense looks awful.
Yeah, again.
I don't know what's happened. I don't know if they've had injuries or what, but they were a good defense the first half of the season. Not anymore.
And then finally, if you lose to UMass, you are a dud. They were down. Army was down like 21-7 at home to UMass.
These are probably the 2 worst teams in the country.
Oh, God.
I just can't believe that Army is like UMass. I didn't even realize UMass had a football team till a few years ago. Good gracious.
Is Monken still at Army?
Yes.
He is.
God,
and it's fallen apart.
I mean, they used to be good.
They were really good. And you watch them now, and they don't scare people the way they did. They used to be a team nobody wanted to play because of what they run, and you only have 1 week to prepare for it. But, I mean, UMass is one of those dregs of society in college football.
And now, if you're Army, you got to go play Air Force.
No matter what, the biggest dregs right now is Temple.
Oh, man.
Bad football team playing in front of nobody.
No one.
No one.
Why you hating on Temple, George?
I'm not. I watched them. I watched the SMU game.
Oh, gosh.
And that was 3 hours I'll never get back.
Nothing better to do, huh?
Oh, apparently not. We'll go to the break.
Hey, I want to give a mention to Kelly. Well, I say Kelly's, but his son played there. Riverdale had a phenomenal.
Hold on.
Well, they
win.
did, yeah. They
Can
did.
you insert during the commercial break the 2-point conversion?
I don't think I'll be able to.
Well,
but
see, a good producer would.
oh yeah, let's.
Yeah,
let's
that
not
was
go there.
amazing. That thing got tipped 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Up in
and
the
I
air
was
and
listening on the radio. I didn't know how good it was, and like if it was as crazy as it sounded. But I went back and looked at it on my phone. I was like, oh my gosh,
Unbelievable,
crazy.
Yeah, the kid caught it with one hand. He brought it in with one hand.
So Kelly, the likelihood is they may play again.
Oh yeah, if they keep winning, they're going to play again. But it'll be at Riverdale. Riverdale's got the home field advantage now, and I'm not sure. Of course, there's a long ways off. You got weeks and weeks. But does the East Tennessee team come to Murfreesboro if that happens, or does the winner
You're talking
of this
about
region,
like the Maryville,
Alcoa?
Alcoa.
Maryville's not in it anymore because they've lost like 3 or 4 games this year.
Have they really?
Yeah. So they're no longer I don't know. Obviously they had a down year this year, but Bradley Central is a team that is 10-0. The former coach that was at Blackman is now at Bradley Central. So they've won that division this year, and they're in the top 10 in the rankings this year. So I don't know if the East Tennessee team has got to come to Middle Tennessee or the Middle Tennessee team has got to go to East Tennessee this year. That'll be huge.
Kelly, as you know, Plaster Bet of the Day has a standard of excellence that is hard to maintain. However,
done well.
It was maintained this weekend. We will review and then make you more money when we come back.
Give to the people.
Bingo.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Monday. The most loaded sports day of the year is tonight. MLS playoffs. You got some NBA action. Got the NHL, NFL, World Series. It's going to be a fun night. But first, Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's check out what happened to George over the weekend. The pursuit of excellence.
Wow.
Although it wasn't that, I mean, it was average.
It was 4-3. It was a winning weekend.
But Eagles Chiefs, some people count that as 2. I mean, you lost both those.
No, I did not.
Games,
the Eagles covered the teaser.
So I need to talk to Matthew again, I guess.
No, the Chiefs lost.
So the whole thing lost.
So the whole thing loses. You don't count that as 2 losses.
Well, I didn't know if both teams had lost.
Well, do you not keep up with the NFL?
Just don't get our panties in a wad,
I'm not locked in on every score.
Hold on. Kelly, what was that?
I said, don't get your panties in a wad, fellas.
Anyway, it was an average weekend, but it was a winning weekend.
It was a winning weekend. It was good, George.
Yeah. So we move on. But he kind of dissed.
He did. He's always trying to diss you, George.
Right. And you're not much better.
Well, I know, but I mean, I've got like he's like, what is he, like 19 years old, dude? He has no room for that. You know what I'm saying? We got to. You gotta like slap his wrist or something, George. Good gracious.
Which one was it you tried to argue with me about Friday?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, I bet that's because you lost.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
Notice I had NC State. That's a good play.
Kelly had it too.
Play.
Yes, he did.
Well, I didn't pick it though. I picked Kansas, but both of my picks would have won this week, which I was very proud of my picks.
You should be. Speaking of pride, let's make you some money tonight. Detroit will host a Monday night football game for the first time in a while. And my guess is that crowd at Ford Field will be electric. The Lions are really good. The Raiders, they're poorly coached. People are starting to really wonder if boy wonder Josh McDaniels is really NFL head coaching material.
I don't think.
Well, I think it's kind of shown in 2 places that he's not.
I'm taking the Lions minus the 8. I can't wait for the McDaniels coaching error tonight that cost them the game. Those are, I mean, it happens almost every close primetime game they have. There's some just awful error from McDaniels.
Jimmy Garoppolo will play for the Raiders, I believe.
You could be right. I'm not sure. I want to say yes.
Billy's not up on that, George. You know that. He hasn't done his pregame, his pre-show routine. He hasn't figured all that out, man. It's unbelievable. I'm telling him that the kid from Duke played. I mean, that's your job. That's your job, Billy. Figure it out.
That was a.
I think you should be fined for stuff like that. That's just me.
Really?
Kelly thinks I'm some sort of computer or something, I guess.
Right.
Well, you're supposed to be. I mean, that's your job. That's the description in your job title, Hoss. Figure it out.
Let's get to play number 2, game 3 of the World Series. First game at Arizona, first World Series game in over 20 years. Remember, the last time was when the Yankees got beat in game 7. Mariano Rivera on the mound, up by a run. Luis Gonzalez, the little bloop.
Yep.
Arizona doesn't normally draw well in the regular season, but this crowd tonight will be electric, and it will help Arizona, and they will win. Lions, Arizona. Kelly, you take it, you make money.
I agree, George. I was kind of, it was kind of Arizona let one get away from them in the first game.
Yeah.
They kind of had that one wrapped up, it seemed like, but when Corey Seager gets up there and hits that monster homer to tie it 5-5, then it's the game on again.
Good luck to Nashville MLS tonight down in Orlando. Did I hear correctly? 6 o'clock?
Why are you asking me all these questions, George?
He doesn't know, George.
Mistakenly, I thought you wanted to get in this business.
George, you set people up like no other. It's unbelievable.
It's so great, dude. I mean, know your stuff, Billy. Come on air and know what you're talking about.
The way George plays dumb and sets people up like no other.
We're out of here. I think I need to check into the home.
See y'all.
Dinner will be served at 4:30. See you later.